Thank you for joining me. My name is Ken Raggio, and today's Bible study is our third lesson from the book of Daniel, chapter 11. We begin with the subject of the Assyrian man of sin. The Assyrian man of sin. Israel never had a more persistent enemy than Assyria. Assyria took the northern 10 tribes of Israel into captivity, beginning in 740 BC under Tiglath-Pileser, and then Shalmaneser, and then Sargon II. Later, Sennacherib of Assyria also threatened King Hezekiah of Judah. Hundreds of years later, after Judah returned from Babylonian captivity, the Assyrian Antiochus Epiphanes profaned the temple in Jerusalem. Daniel revealed that the final man of sin in the end times will be the king of the Assyrians. I suspect modern Turkey, possibly anywhere in that region, Syria, northern Iran, or Turkey, probably Turkey. Daniel 11:36, the king shall do according to his will, and he shall exalt himself and magnify himself above every god. This self-willed man of sin from somewhere in the Turkey, Syria, Iran region will exalt and magnify himself above and against every god, even the God of gods. God has determined this evil man's fate since the beginning of time. This man of sin will prosper until God's indignation with Israel is satisfied. Daniel 11:36, the king shall do according to his will, and he shall exalt himself and magnify himself above every god, and shall speak marvelous things against the God of gods, and shall prosper till the indignation be accomplished, for that is determined shall be done. We're speaking about the Antichrist man of sin, the Assyrian. Then it talks of the God of his father, said, neither shall he regard the God of his father. Who is the God of the Antichrist? Well, probably himself. He will not honor Jehovah, that's certain. We don't think he's going to honor any other God. We would expect a man from the region of Turkey or Syria or Iran to be a Muslim who honors Allah. But if the man of sin does not honor any other God, he could not be a Muslim, unless he claims to be the incarnation of Allah. Muslims speak of their expected Mahdi as the last repository of Allah. I would say there's at least a chance this guy could project himself as the Mahdi, but who knows? Daniel 11:37, neither shall he regard the God of his fathers, nor the desire of women, nor regard any God, for he shall magnify himself above all. This man of sin and his strange God, I'm going to tell you that it's Lucifer in reality. The man of sin will completely deny the Jehovah of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He will violently hate Jehovah and Jesus and Jews and Christians. His strange God will be God's worst enemy. Who else? Lucifer will absolutely possess this terrifying man, this man of sin. The world has never seen such evil in a man. I believe he will be Islam's purported Mahdi. At the very least, he'll be a Muslim. Daniel 11:37-39, neither shall he regard the God of his fathers, nor regard any God, for he shall magnify himself above all. A God whom his fathers knew not shall he honor. Thus shall he do in the most strongholds with a strange God, whom he shall acknowledge and increase with glory. Then Daniel 11:38 says, in his estate shall he honor the God of forces. What is the estate of this man of sin? Even the devil has his own place. The Antichrist will have his own place. In his estate means in his place, in his base. This man of sin will probably have a fortified installation that he operates from. The real news here is that God determines and grants everybody a place until everything ultimately comes to judgment. Remember how Jesus granted Judas, he said, what thou doest, do quickly. Ever since Lucifer sinned in the garden, God has granted Satan a place, but I'm telling you, his final place will be in hell. The Bible said the Antichrist will honor the God of forces. In Daniel 11:38-90 said, but in his estate shall he honor the God of forces with gold and silver and with precious stones and pleasant things. Thus shall he do in the most strongholds and he shall cause them to rule over many. All this speaks of the man of sin and his defense system. This Antichrist will honor the God of forces. In dozens of other Old Testament verses, the Hebrew word maoz, maoz, is translated strength or stronghold. It has a connotation of defense systems. So I ask you, will the Antichrist stand behind the world's most dangerous defense system? Will he possess a threatening nuclear arsenal? I suspect that he will. The man of sin will rule Israel during the last 42 months. During the 42 months after he desecrates the Jewish temple by standing inside it, claiming to be God, this man of sin will set about to rule the world as the most evil king in all human history. As the prophesied king of the north, he will quickly engage in war with Egypt and will take over all of Israel. Daniel 11:39, 41, and 45 says, he shall cause them to rule over many and shall divide the land for gain. There's the two-state solution by force, not by treaty. He shall divide the land for gain, and he shall enter also into the glorious land. That's the holy land of Israel. And he shall plant the tabernacles of his palace between the seas in the glorious holy mountain. That's the man of sin in Jerusalem, the Antichrist headquartered in Jerusalem for the last 42 months. I just want to remind you that all biblical prophecies have some great divine purpose. I have not found a more difficult chapter anywhere in the Bible than this chapter, Daniel 11, but despite its apparent complexity and its difficulty, it does contain some of the most important prophetic information in the Bible. If we ignore Daniel chapter 11, we deprive ourselves of so many indispensable pieces of the prophetic puzzle. If we want to understand what's going to happen in the last days, or accurately identify this coming Antichrist, man of sin, then we have to understand Daniel 11, because Daniel 11:40 says, at the time of the end shall the king of the south push at him, and the king of the north shall come against him. That's a projected war between Egypt and probably Turkey. We know the Bible tells us that Antichrist, this man of sin, is going to take Egypt. Egypt made peace with Israel in 1979 when President Anwar Sadat signed an Israel-Egyptian peace treaty with Israeli President Menachem Begin. Egypt hosts the headquarters of the 22-nation Arab League. Egypt will initially stand against the man of sin, but will later be defeated by him. Daniel 11:40, 42-43 says, at the time of the end shall the king of the south, speaking of Egypt, push at him, and the king of the north, that's the Assyrian man of sin, shall come against him like a whirlwind. And the land of Egypt shall not escape, but he shall have power over all the precious things of Egypt. So we're going to see the Antichrist make war on Egypt and win. And the man of sin will have plenty of money and power. He will have more earthly power than any man who's ever lived. He will control the earth's wealth. Nevertheless, his power and money cannot stand against the sovereign power of Almighty God. Jesus will finally come at that time and take it all from him. Daniel 11:40-45, he, the man of sin, shall enter into the countries and shall overflow and pass over. Many countries shall be overthrown. He shall stretch forth his hand also upon the countries, and he shall have power over the treasures of gold and of silver. Yet he shall come to his end, and none shall help him. That's when Jesus comes back and destroys him. So we know by what we just read, the man of sin will overthrow many countries. This Assyrian, from either Turkey, Syria, or Iran, this man of sin will be a vicious enemy of Israel, probably all Western civilization. He'll have no tolerance for moderate Arabs. Jordan will escape his terrible control by the prophecies, but Egypt and Libya and Ethiopia will not. He will overthrow many countries. Daniel 11:41-43 says, many countries shall be overthrown, but these shall escape out of his hand, even Edom and Moab and the chief of the children of Ammon. All three of those are in the state of Jordan today. He shall stretch forth his hand also upon the countries, and the land of Egypt shall not escape. He'll conquer Egypt. The Libyans and the Ethiopians shall be at his step. So this Assyrian will control Ethiopia and Libya. He will manifest great fury This man of sin will conquer Israel. He'll conquer Egypt and many other nations. This Assyrian monster will do everything he wants until trouble comes from the north and the east. I suspect that communists from Russia, that's up north, and from China, that's the east, will try to terminate this Islamic Mahdi's global conquest. That will, of course, provoke the worst war in history. Islam trying to deal a death blow to communism, perhaps. The sixth trumpet war of Revelation 9 is going to happen right there on the Euphrates River. 1/3 of mankind will die. The man of sin will survive until Armageddon because he has an appointment with Jesus Christ. Daniel 11:44 says, tidings out of the east, I think that's China, and tidings out of the north, I think that's Russia, shall trouble him. Therefore he shall go forth with great fury to destroy and utterly to make away many. I think we're going to see a horrible Middle Eastern war at the hands of this Turkish man of sin. And finally, Lucifer, possessing this man of sin, will finally realize one of his most longed-for dreams. Lucifer said in Isaiah 14:13, I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. But God answered him back in Ezekiel 28:16. He said, I will cast thee as profane out of the mountain of God, and I will destroy thee, O covering cherub. So Lucifer will finally sit in power on that holy mountain in Jerusalem for a while, but Jesus will violently overthrow him when he comes. I call it paradise gained and paradise lost. Daniel 11:45, he shall plant the tabernacles of his palace between the seas in the glorious holy mountain, yet he shall come to his end, and none shall help him. Jesus will whip him. The Bible said in Revelation 19:20, Jesus is going to cast the beast and the false prophet into a lake of fire and brimstone right there in Jerusalem. Won't that be a great day? Those are our lessons for today. Thank you for joining me. God bless you and save your eternal soul in Jesus' name. Thank you for watching. Please like and share and follow me on Facebook, Twitter, MeWe, Gab, CloudHub, BitChute, Rumble, YouTube, Telegram, Truth Social, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Visit my website at KenRaggio.com for thousands of pages of Bible articles on every subject. Subscribe to receive my daily Bible studies by email. Go to Amazon, search for books by Ken Raggio. You'll see my daily Bible companion, 5,000 lessons almost from every chapter of the Bible, 2-volume set, Old and New Testaments. Get the Daniel prophecies, God's plan for the last days, 726 pages with footnotes, 175 photos, one of the most powerful prophecy teachings anywhere. Get the greatest doctrines of the Bible. Get praying on purpose, praying for results, how men prevail with God. Get Long Winding Road, my very personal story, and Treasures of Darkness, how to see the glory of God in your darkest trials. Click the link below if you want all 9 books for only $125 here in the United States only. And please donate through the link below, and then share these videos with your friends, and I'll see you next time. Good night.